welcome back to the farm. If you've been following along, you will know that I'm recently unemployed because I had to shut down the florist business, and it feels kind of sad but happy at the same time. It's bittersweet. It's giving me so much time to just reflect on things and really think about what I value and where I'm going in life. But what we're doing now is we're making things beautiful. I have wanted reclining chairs for like over 10 years, and I finally found a set. They were affordable and they were a dark colour, which I thought would be a great idea with kids. They were a nice fabric and they were almost in new condition. So I got them and we're switching them into the lounge room. The kids got right into it. We've moved the really big couch out into the studio because I now don't need that studio for the florist shop at the moment. And I have this beautiful old rug, and it was out of my friend's grandmother's house, and I had it edged and cut into a circle, and it's now a big like vintage rug for the house. I'm the only person in the home that likes it, so we might have to switch to a different rug. But I've got the recliner chairs, and honestly, comfiest things on earth, but there's issues, so we'll talk about that in a bit. The studio is looking amazing with this big grey couch, and I love this couch so much, and I kind of miss it being in the lounge room, but we're sticking with the process. Good morning. It's not as cold today, which is good. I actually got to go into town and stock up on some groceries. I'm gonna go to I'm going to try and lean away from the supermarkets a little bit, the major supermarkets, because they're just ruining small businesses. And they are making so much profit while the rest of the country is suffering because we can't afford stuff. So I'm going to try and move away from them. In 2013, I actually went supermarket free. And back then, you couldn't get these toilet paper subscriptions. So toilet paper was the only thing I had to go into a supermarket for. But since then, all the toilet papers you can get it delivered to your door. I really love our toilet paper. Been to the shop and I have show and tell. Bought more things and it was completely irresponsible, but look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? There was another flower one, but it said rose or something. Look at that, because if I get to it, I'll have a whole row of strawberries. We used to, and I'm getting back into it. So won't this be a cute little photo prop? Tax deductible too. That's how I justified it in the end. We then went up to Mansfield for the day, which is the cutest place up in the hills, to see my brother and his family because my brother's fixing my horn on my car.
Oh no, I've got to cut it out anyway.
That's annoying, isn't it? Oh yeah, because it's like a little pyramid. Except the aliens didn't build this one.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I've just got to trim it out.
Is it danger?
No.
I've been a member of the garden club in our town for a few years now, but I very rarely turn up to anything because I haven't had time. And I thought, now I've got time on my hands. So I turned up to the rose pruning at the cemetery, which they do every year.
Yes. Yeah, what's this doing here?
Yeah, get that magical tool in there.
Yes.
And everybody will be like, what's that?
What's that? Advertising.
I'll be like, I know, I should blur it out on them.
No. You just contact them and say, look, this is what I'm doing for you. They might
Yes.
I filmed this little bit to show you which rose bushes I prune, but I can't remember. I did this little one, which there wasn't much of it, and this big one here. I don't think I did that one. I just actually can't remember now. Anyway, this is our beautiful cemetery. And they're doing lots of cool things, like up the back corner there's a new section for eco-burials, and they're also sectioning off a whole area to see what sort of ancient wild flowers and grasses are going to grow. And this is us, and I also scored some gorgeous roses that I had to prune off, so I brought them home. That was so fun this morning. So everybody is probably over 60, I'd say. But I really like hanging out with older people. I've always had older friends, even when I was like in my later teenage years. I remember when I was like 17. One of my friends was probably like 23 or something. We went overseas together. I came home one day. I don't even know how I did it. And I bought a ticket, I don't know, to go overseas. I can't quite remember that. How did I do that when I wasn't 18? I don't know. Anyway, my mum wasn't that happy about it, but I did it. Anyways, I am going to tackle that last row that I got to weed. And then I've got the leaves for it. And then I might bring that trailer out and start shoveling more poo. All the frost has thawed. Look at my stock, it's looking good over there. So this is the row we need to tackle. I didn't weed it at all during summer, but considering that, it's not that bad. And then I've got to do that last row up the back. Then we can finally start to get into some of the really fun stuff out here, where I start to put in some things that are going to make this whole space really interesting. And I can't wait. It's overcast and it is going to rain, but so I'm having a break from doing bed prep. I've still got that trail load of poo to put out. But what I'm doing is I've got an very old veggie patch and it's just overgrown. We need to rip the whole thing out, but it's filled with strawberries, raspberries, it's got asparagus and it's got lilies in there. So I need to pull everything out. So this is what I'm doing. I've done the strawberries, so I've got 100 little runners in there, so they will go out into the veggie and flower field. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start going through, putting buckets, like I'll just go grab tubs and put them aside. So probably what I need to work on now, the raspberry or the asparagus. Asparagus is going to be really hard to get to. It's so full of, I might do the asparagus. You know, creating this beautiful life, I decided to go and get the chairs I've always wanted, which is recliner chairs, you know, like really big comfy ones. And in my head I had it in my imagination that we'll have these recliners. They're not the prettiest looking things, but maybe at this point in life I'm okay with it not looking good. Comfy, you know, comfy enough to sleep in. Because I just remember when I was pregnant, I don't plan on being pregnant again, but when I was, I just wished I had a recliner to sleep in so I could sleep upright. Anyway, get these recliners. Felt so happy, like I felt so happy. They were fabric, because I don't really want leather ones. So they were a nice fabric, almost new, very clean. Worked perfectly, they recline back nicely, like big pillows to sit in. And I was just like, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe my luck, right? No, first night I tried to sit in it and my lower back is killing me. Like I think because there's no support for the lower back, it just kind of sank in like backwards sort of. Oh, and I've had a sore back since. So now I'm back on the couch saga. and they're too dark for our lounge room. It doesn't look right. So it feels a bit disappointing. I feel sad about it. Anyway, let's find a tub. I kind of want that one, but it's a lot of effort to get to it. So I think I'll just grab these and I can use those as tubs, but I bet you they're filled with spiders. So we're going to do the old chuck test. Sometimes when you pull these apart, there's a massive big, so there'll be a spider there. Usually there's a massive big huntsman. They're those horrible big gangly long scary spiders that run fast. I've pulled apart many pots that have had one in it. Now I've got to find my... Of course it's gone again. This wasn't me this time not putting this away. Do you know what? I'm building a shed to go out into the paddock, like a cute little shed. Someone's left this upside down. I did once step on a rake and it flicked up into my face like the cartoons, but it is so painful. It hurts so bad. It's like somebody comes along and whacks you in the face with a stick, because essentially that is what has happened, only you whacked yourself. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to work on the asparagus in this amazingly grass-filled bed. Is just absolutely laced with, oh, it's impossible, absolutely laced with grass to the point where I can't even get the shovel, the rake in enough. I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. I think to get this one out, I'm going to need to seriously, I think I'm going to need to remove that top row of sleepers, the timber framing, and kind of pull it away. I just don't have the energy right now to stuff around with that. Okay, so we're at the raspberry patch. My plan is I'm just going to thin them out, so I'll pull out maybe to do a row out in the paddock for this season. I'll probably pull out 10 or 20 canes. And I've got plenty, so it won't even make a dent here. Clean this one up, weed it out, and get this one prepped for the next season. So then in the summer, I'll keep this one watered and the one over in the paddock, and then just slowly pull them out every year until I've got a few rows out here, and then I can get rid of this one altogether. So this one will be a bit of a process to get rid of. It suck a bit because I really wanted to get everything out of this whole area because it's just unmanageable. The grass has absolutely riddled the beds to the point where it can't be repaired. I'm never ever going to get rid of it, so we're just going to pull everything out. There's concrete sleepers around all of these beds. Pull those out, use them for another project, and just eventually just have this as an empty paddock. So when we do get some animals, we have a little paddock. Like if we got some lambs that needed bottle feeding or something, so they're close to the house, or we can extend the fences up a bit taller and put chickens in here or something. Raspberries are very, very hardy. However, if you don't water them, they will die. But in terms of sort of dividing them up to use them elsewhere, you can literally just rip canes out of the ground. And what we've got here is we've got canes that have grown outside of the bed. So that's where you pull them from first. That's the first place you pull them from. Clean up your edges, get them away from the edge of your beds or where they've jumped outside the beds, because they create a network under the ground. You are basically, just make sure you're got a bit of a, this one's got a lot of spikes on it. Some of them do. So I just kind of clean the grass up a bit. My last job will be to come through and properly weed. Just grab it. Sometimes, oh, this one's not going to work, of course. No, I'm going to have to use 2 hands. Okay, it's out now. So I just used 2 hands And there's your cane. Well, the roots for your cane. So I'm just going to go along, clean that up, and then I will come in and trim them all back, and then I weed out around them, and then I'll mulch and put some poo on top, prep it ready for next season. Done. And these are my canes. I lost count. Maybe I've got, I don't know, 30 or 40 in there. And then I'll just work on this. Well, I'll see how many I need to fill up a row over there, pull some more out starting that end, and then I'll just start moving them over the next year or so. I know what you're thinking. It's way too big for the space. And it is. And once I get the rest of this room cleaned out, it could work. Now I'm just going to make the most of it here. And the lounges in the house, they're not 100% working that well, but I'm leaving them in there because I've wanted recliners for like 13 years and I finally got them, and I feel like they're a nice shape, they're a nice color, and they're the fabric that I wanted. So they actually are what I want. Like, I would love to have recliners that are these perfectly aesthetic, beautiful things, but it doesn't exist. If they look good, they're not comfortable. So that is just what it is. I just need to find another like 2-seater that will work, and I think it needs a higher back in the lounge. And for now, this is just going to be in here, and I've got to clean out all of this. I'm thinking I might run a wreath workshop, dried wreath, get rid of as much dried flowers as I can, because I've got more up here. And then I will sell a whole heap of the florist stuff, like things that, now that I've got the time at the moment, anything I'm not going to use anymore or that I didn't like using. I've got a lot of stuff, and I cleaned out over here just before. There was junk all in that corner. I need to go through that shelf. Like, most of the stuff up the top there can go. I can really clean this out, and I want to paint that table. There's a nice big coffee table under there too. Okay, so this actually looks okay. One day we'll get a big TV, but imagine I've got a timber cabinet that's going there. I'll get rid of all the junk. But imagine if that's just a nice clean space. It looks pretty nice. And eventually this all won't be here. So it'll be really easy to hop off the exercise equipment and come around to the mat. Because this is kind of like multi-purpose. Especially when the girls have their friends over. Work in progress. I think the house is going to be not ideal for a while before it becomes ideal. Because we do have other plans for things, but it's going to take me, I reckon, 6 to 12 months to execute the plan. That does suck. So while it's not working right now, it will be working in the future. So that is actually okay. It's the lounge in our house, and I think we might need to move one recliner out and put it into Moroni's office, and then eventually get a bigger 2-seater or something. I don't know. Unless we just get 2 more recliners and we have 4 recliners in the lounge. They can just be ridiculous. but it's a bit like there's a lot of moisture in the air. So I'm trying not to get my head wet. I did not sleep well. But trying to keep in a routine. So let's go for a walk. One of the best ways to warm your hands up when it's cold is to wash the dishes. So as much as I want a dishwasher, I am grateful that I can just slow down and wash the dishes. I've also been spending time, I haven't done a heap of time, but I'm cleaning up the studio and just condensing things, making piles to get rid of things. And Moroni and James built a little bird feeder. We're going to do more because they're so entertaining watching these little birds. You'll watch this one here has a fight with the other birds and kind of pushes them off the edge. And so all the friends have to eat the bird seed on the ground. Aren't they funny? We're loving watching them. Thank you so much for watching again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind comments and your amazing ideas. I can't tell you where this journey is leading, but I am working on making it beautiful. See you next time. That bird up there is the king of the castle, the rest of the dirty rascals. And he just keeps flicking them all off the... Look, there's going to be another fight.
They don't even try. They
Maybe their strategy is to upset him enough that he flicks around and knocks all the seed on the ground because they're all on the ground.
Mm-hmm.